Here's something the world gets completely backwards. Most people think being rich means earning a big paycheck. A doctor pulling $400,000 a year looks rich, but many of them are one missed paycheck from panic. Big house, big car, big payments, almost nothing owned. Meanwhile, the quiet millionaire drives a used car and owns pieces of a dozen businesses. Income is what you make, wealth is what you keep, and what keeps paying you. The rich don't play the income game. They play a completely different game, one nobody teaches you in school. Let's break down the real rules. So what does rich actually mean? Not your salary, your net worth. Everything you own, minus everything you owe. But even that misses the real secret. True wealth is measured in cash flow. How long could you stop working and keep your life running? For most people, the answer is weeks. For the wealthy, it's forever, because their money works even when they don't. That's the finish line the rich are actually racing toward. Not a bigger paycheck, freedom from needing one at all. Everything you buy falls into two buckets. Assets put money into your pocket. Liabilities take money out. It sounds simple, but almost everyone gets it wrong. That brand new car? A liability. It drains gas, insurance, and value every single day. That rental property, that index fund, that share of a business. Assets. They pay you while you sleep. The middle class buys liabilities that look like wealth. The rich buy assets that quietly build it. The dollar you spend is gone. The dollar you invest hires a worker that never sleeps. And here's the trap hiding inside your savings account. Every year, inflation quietly shrinks the value of your cash. Prices rise, and the dollars sitting in the bank buy a little less than they did before. Saving feels safe, but in slow motion, it's a leak. This is why the wealthy rarely hoard cash. They convert it into assets that rise with inflation, or faster. Savers hand value back to the economy every year. Owners collect it. Same dollar, opposite direction. Here's where the paths split. When money comes in, most people spend first and invest whatever's left, which is usually nothing. The wealthy flip it. They buy assets first, then let those assets pay for the luxuries. They don't buy the sports car with their salary. They buy an asset, and when it grows enough, the asset buys the car. It's a small shift with a massive result. One path spends the seed. The other plants it and eats the fruit. Now the rules get more powerful. The rich rarely use only their own money. They use leverage, other people's money, to control far more than they could alone. A landlord puts 20% down and controls a whole building the bank paid for. A founder raises capital to grow 10 times faster. Used carelessly, debt is a trap. Used deliberately, it's a lever. And a small push moves an enormous weight. The difference isn't the debt. It's whether it buys an asset or a liability. Then there's the quietest advantage of all. Taxes. A worker earning a salary is taxed the most, and taxed first, before the money ever hits their account. But income from owning things, businesses, real estate, investments, is often taxed far less and much later. The rich don't cheat the system. They simply earn the kind of income the system rewards. Ownership. This isn't advice. It's just how the rules are written. And the wealthy read the rulebook the rest of us never open. Every rule so far points to one word: ownership. When you own a piece of something that grows, time becomes your employee. A share of a great business earns, reinvests, and compounds. And 30 years later, that small stake is a fortune. The rich aren't smarter with every dollar. They just get more dollars working, earlier, and refuse to interrupt them. They let ownership compound quietly for decades, while everyone else trades their hours for a paycheck that stops the moment they do. But none of this works without one habit: paying yourself first. Before the rent, before the fun, the wealthy move money into assets automatically every single month. Whatever's left runs their life. Most people do the opposite. They pay everyone else first and hope to save the scraps. Discipline isn't about earning more. It's about deciding in advance that a slice of every dollar you touch becomes an asset before you're ever tempted to spend it. There's also a difference in time. The middle class thinks in paychecks. This week, this month, the next bill. The wealthy think in decades. They'll happily plant something that pays nothing for years because they can see the tree, not just the seed. That long view changes every decision. What they buy, what they ignore, what they're willing to wait for. Wealth is rarely built fast. It's built slowly, then suddenly, and only the patient are still holding when the sudden part arrives. Let me make this concrete. Two neighbors earn the exact same salary. The first upgrades everything: new cars, a bigger house, the lifestyle that matches the paycheck. The second lives a little below their means and quietly buys assets every month. 10 years in, they look similar on the street. But one owns a growing portfolio and the other owns a pile of payments. Same income, same decade, completely different destinations. The difference was never how much they made, it was what they did with it. Now, the part nobody likes to admit. The rich have access, better deals, earlier information, mentors who've done it before. A lot of wealth moves through rooms most people never enter. But here's the hopeful truth. Those rooms are more open than they've ever been. The same investing tools, courses, and communities the wealthy use are now a click away. The gap isn't only money anymore. It's who bothers to learn the game and starts playing before they feel ready. The truly wealthy don't just build money. They build moats around it. They teach their kids how it works, wrap assets in trusts, and pass down not just cash, but the rulebook itself. That's how families stay rich for generations, while lottery winners are broke in 5 years. Money with no knowledge disappears. Knowledge with a little money grows. The most valuable thing the rich pass on isn't the fortune. It's the understanding of how the fortune was made. So why does the middle class stay stuck? Not because they don't earn enough, but because of 3 quiet traps. Lifestyle inflation. Every raise becomes a bigger spend, not a bigger investment. Status. Buying things to look wealthy, which keeps you from ever being wealthy. And ownership avoidance. Trading 40 years of hours for a paycheck and never owning a single asset that could set them free. The traps feel normal. That's exactly why they work. Here's the part that matters, because you can copy almost all of it, starting now. Spend less than you earn and turn the gap into assets automatically. Own things, index funds, a business, real estate, pieces of the economy that pay you. Kill high-interest liabilities that drain you. Learn how taxes actually work. And then be patient. Give ownership the decades it needs. None of this requires being born rich. It requires playing by the rules the rich already use. The wealthy aren't a different species. They just learned a different game. One built on owning, not earning. On patience, not speed. On rules that are hiding in plain sight. You don't need permission to start playing. You need a single asset, a little consistency, and time. Start where you are with what you have today. Subscribe to App Wealth Hub for the money truths nobody teaches you, and we'll keep making the game make sense. Not financial advice, just the rulebook opened.